there only seems to be one person who believes in that Trump had some sort of magical plan more than Don Jr. And it's not her. It's not Jen Pellegrino. Clearly sparkling. If you get the reference. And it's some guy named Santorum. I think his first name is Google. I'm not sure. But the title of this is, and this is from Newsmax, it would have to be, is Santorum. Trump's plan had us walking away as winners. First of all, Google, winners don't walk away, okay? We strut, and usually there's a giant explosion behind us when it's happening. So get used to the idea. Secondly, what? Plan. What plan? What plan? What plan? What plan? Let's find out.
Is left in President Biden's August 31st Afghanistan withdrawal plan. But following yesterday's terror attack, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki left the door open for U.S. troops to return to the region.
Well, we'll see. Hold on.
Suffice to say, it means the potential exists for troops to go back into Afghanistan even after that.
Again, I'm not going to get into the detail of what that would require, but his commitment remains until it's done.
Right. And if he had said, nah, fuck them. If there's Americans in that country from now through the rest of history, we're not going to get them out. Are you nuts?
Many are now concerned that Biden's sloppy plan to withdraw from Afghanistan will only prolong our stay there, and some big names in Washington are calling for it.
This aged well. Oh, this is fun. It is sickening and enraging to hear that at least 12 U.S. service members have been killed at the hands of the terrorists in Kabul. We need to redouble our global efforts to confront these barbarian enemies. Barbaric? Really? Who want to kill Americans and attack our homeland. Well, obviously, in what? Is anybody ever try to fly a helicopter across the Atlantic?
Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell tweeted yesterday, we need to redouble our global efforts.
Sorry, I'm just going to enjoy the fact that she had to say minority leader.
Confront these barbarian enemies who want to kill Americans and attack our homeland.
Barbaric. I mean, honestly.
Our next guest says that Biden didn't end this war. He may have just started another one. Joining.
Wishful thinking. Oh, man. Why do we have to ever go? Maybe there'll be a new war. Maybe not. We don't know.
Now is former Pennsylvania Senator and Senior Advisor at Convention of States, Rick Santorum. Senator,
yeah, that sounds like a real organization. At Senior Advisor at Convention of States.
Being with us tonight.
Thank you, Jen. Good to be with you.
Want to play a quick clip for you. Leon Panetta, former defense secretary, what he had to say on CNN about this potential ongoing war.
This potential ongoing war.
Line is that our work is not done in Afghanistan. We're going to have to go back in to get ISIS. We're probably going to have to go back in when Al-Qaeda resurrects itself.
So, Senator, do you think this is over on August 31st, rather?
No, well, obviously not. And, I know a lot of people, want to end wars. I like to end wars, too.
Yeah, I could tell. Yeah, because totally while you were serving, wars ended. And totally the guy that you supported ended a war. Oh, shit. Sorry, what reasoning would you give for, like, what verification? I'm just saying citation needed. We're going to need some sort of, you can't just say shit like that close to the shitter.
But you end wars one of two ways. You either win them or you lose them.
No, actually, you end wars multiple ways. You can die winning. You could lose and live, and your enemy can later kill themselves off. And like, wow, we kind of won just by leaving. We didn't realize it at the time. But you can also end a war by a peace deal. You can end a war by recognizing that you'd been tricked into fighting against each other. It's like, oh, just, yeah, a truce. That's another way. Sure, sure. Let's see. You can end a war by, well, sometimes it's like a temporary end of the war because you both have to fight the wolves that are killing more of the soldiers than you were killing of each other. Winter sometimes will end a war.
Just end it to end it, you end up doing what we've done here, which is lose, because now.
No, we did. No, we did not lose. What did we lose? What did we lose? The opportunity to stay in Afghanistan?
People that we drove out 20 years ago are back in power. And
yeah, we weren't after the Taliban. We decided later to start nation building, but we didn't get in there. That was not the mission. The Taliban lets Al-Qaeda get in there, so we're going to go in there, wipe out Al-Qaeda first, then the Taliban, then we're going to create a government, then we're going to give them a bunch of military stuff. Make that sales pitch in 2001, you dickhead.
The threats that caused us to go there in the first place have now been rekindled and emboldened. What we've done is
ISIS will be fighting the Taliban.
Create a monster.
The Taliban will be fighting ISIS.
The Taliban waited us out, and they
groups that are neither the Taliban or ISIS will be fighting ISIS and the Taliban.
They and other Islamic fundamentalist groups.
ISIS and the Taliban will be fighting groups that are neither ISIS nor the Taliban. Stop me if this sounds familiar.
Are now emboldened by what they've seen here in America, and American resolve, and American not resolve. I think America's resolve is just poorly planned, and
America's resolve is poorly planned. Our resolve is to get the fuck out. We stuck to it. We are not dumping money into that country. Imagine. Let's just say, okay. Let's say that the U.S. government is dropping somewhere in the order of somewhere between $15 and $30 billion a year into Afghanistan. Between government, our own like personnel and environment, what we help in terms of supplying the military and all this stuff. We're dumping that money in. And they know it. And they know where we're dumping that money, and they know where we're spending it, and they know that all of our news talks about is how our debt is crazy. We can't even afford to give health care to our own citizens. We're spending money hand over fist, and they know that that conversation is happening at the same time we're dumping money all over that country, and then we stop. How do you feel if the U.S. government stops putting soldiers nearby that are easy to blow up, stops providing gear to the other side that you're fighting with, and stops servicing that gear, and can sanction countries around it to keep that gear from coming in, has no arrangement with your government at all to not strafe bomb supply lines, drone strike terrorist cells? You don't even have a functioning government that could push back against it, even if you could, and no one in your country can even get out. Would you feel a mild amount of trepidation, perhaps? A little bit nervous about how this was going to turn out for you?
Disastrously so. So I would just say that this war, whether it's a new war or a continuation of a war that we thought we had won, and we could have won had we stuck to President Trump's plan. It was a condition.
Oh, I'm sorry? If we'd have stuck to Trump's plan to be out by May 1st?
Based plan that ensured our victory, ensured the gains that we made would be continued.
How? Oh, you mean the proven negative? It's conditions on the ground. In case you don't know what he's talking about. Trump's plan had conditions on the ground they had to meet, right? It was conditions on the ground. And the condition on the ground was Al-Qaeda would never be able to reconstitute its forces within Afghanistan. And if they... Well, shit, how do you... well, let's say they don't do it and then you leave and then they do it afterwards, and then you're no longer there. So how do you even establish that Al-Qaeda isn't reconstituting itself before you leave without staying? It makes so much sense now. Who wants to stay forever? Who wants to stay forever? This asshole and her. Jesus Christ, these guys are dumb.
Then we could have walked away a winner. And
Walked away. Well, dude, we could have walked away a winner. Boom. Just, just flick a $100 chip at the waiter and go, keep my seat at the table warm.
had us walk away a loser.
And now here we are.
Instead of Biden walking away a loser. What? I mean, it's gibberish. I don't even know why we have to. Shit.
$85 billion worth of our equipment and our weapons.
It's a lie. We've already talked about this lie. It's nonsense. They're taking every piece of gear we've given to the Afghan government and the soldiers over that time, or that we've had in country, much of which we've either removed, has broken down, been replaced. It's just bullshit.
The headlines
Including night
here.
vision goggles.
Oh shit! Not night vision goggles. Now the Taliban will have superpowers and they will be able to see at night. That was the one thing keeping Al-Qaeda from knocking down more towers in America, is that they couldn't do it. They had to do it during the daytime when we could see them coming, and now they can see at night. Hold on. I don't even know if I can do this. 1 second. No, it's still over here. So stupid.
Exactly.
Of all the
Whoops.
things
Oh,
that I
stop
see
it.
there,
Hold on. Quit it. Back up.
the things that I see
I
there.
typed on the wrong keyboard. I apologize. Hold on. Derp. 1 second. Happens. I've got two in front of me. Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm trying to use night vision goggles and I can't. Hold on. Does this work? Hold on. Where the fuck is it? No, I can't use night vision mode because I just disappear because of the green screen. Sorry. I was thinking that would work. My bad. Sorry. Let me pick a better let's see. What would be good for anybody looking at Rick Santorum?
We used to.
Hold on. We have to back up. This is my impersonation of Santorum. That's just gross. I'm sorry. That was wrong. It was wrong. I apologize. Back to where we were. That was nightmare fuel. It was gross. It's just wrong. I shouldn't have done it. So nasty. Oh, it's funny. All right. All right, where are we? Here we go. Back to these dipshits. What were you saying, stupid? I think it's here. Yeah. Hold on.
Equipment and our weapons.
Oh my God, night vision goggles. They're going to have... Yeah.
Goggles. That's
Exactly.
of all the things that I see there, we used to, one of the great advantages we had in warfare is we controlled the night.
We controlled the night. Isn't that a Eddie Money song? Sorry. I've shown you guys this before. Hold on. Just in case you were wondering, let's see. We looked for this before, but I'll show you again. In case you were, there you go. Let's see. Just in case you were wondering, if yeah, where are they going to get night vision goggles? Where will they ever find them? How will anyone get night vision goggles? Is it even possible for someone to even get said technology? I'm not sure if they've ever heard of this. I don't know where they would, I don't know, sell drugs and opium to buy $1,000 night vision goggles. Look at this. LED night vision goggles with flip out lens, $4.75. The Luke Skywalker model, 5x night vision binoculars. These are the military infrared mount ones that you got. These guys right here. Let's just check these out. There you go. 1,500 to 2,700, and even mount to the top of your thing. You can flip them up on your helmet there. There you go. There's several different kinds. You know, one piece is obviously a couple of grand, but you know, you start buying them in bulk. That's a minimum order, and you can negotiate that. And by the way, it can be there in 7 days. Just in case you were wondering. Planes, guns, night vision goggles, the Taliban's new U.S.-made war chest, Reuters. Video appears to show Taliban taking joyride in... Appears? Well, why wait?
Now the enemy has that equal capability. Now, you know, they have to maintain them, and maybe that'll be a problem in the, you know, going...
Maybe. It's one thing to get someone as a child soldier or something to put on a piece of gear and go out and shoot somebody or use something. It's another thing entirely to get them to crack a book and study something that allows them to repair something they can't get parts for.
But for now, you know, they're talking about, Jen Psaki's talking about, you know, putting troops back in potentially for rescue missions alike. Well, you would do that at night?
No, she's not. She's not verbally willing to rule it out because that would be ridiculous. But understand, we're basically, from now on, largely, you're going to see drone strikes and people being guided out of the country with drone and air support.
And we've had an advantage to do that at night. Now our troops are not going to have that advantage. And this is...
You do realize that footage is in daylight.
The kinds of things that just this disastrous withdrawal has created for our military going forward.
You mean the whole baby cradling thing?
And we now have a very emboldened and well-equipped enemy.
Yeah, that's great. I look forward to seeing their choice landings.
You know, Biden yesterday saying that he bears responsibility for this. Of course, he then continued to blame Trump, which has been his go-to in the past. But, you know, to what extent should he be held accountable for what's happening?
Yeah, shouldn't he be driven out of office? You were driven out of office. What's that like?
Well, you know, interestingly enough, the fact that Joe Biden has stuck by his decisions and has said that his military has stuck by his decisions actually results in him long-term taking the responsibility. If he doesn't fire anybody, if he doesn't say, well, you know, look, these people made mistakes, or I got bad info, you can always, as a leader, you can point the finger at other people and say, you know, this is where I was ill-advised, or these were...
So the longer he goes without firing someone, the more responsibility he takes. And he has said, I take full responsibility. Who is holding their breath?
Assumptions that I wasn't briefed on. In this case, he's owning it. Now, you're
You know, listen to the amazement in his voice. Like, he's actually taking responsibility. Like, what the fuck is that?
He's passing the buck to Donald Trump, but in a real sense, Joe Biden, I don't think he means to, but he is owning this by saying that he hasn't made any mistakes when the rest of the world, including the vast majority of the American public, know he has.
No, he doesn't. He didn't say he didn't make any mistakes. He's saying it is actually immeasurable in terms of whether you know mistakes were made, because a mistake would be you had better options, and those better options were possible. That's why he's not saying we haven't made mistakes, because they're going to look back and they'll know later on. But in the middle of this whole thing, when it's a movement on the ground, if you had a general directing soldiers to do something on the battlefield and it was like literally the taking of a hill or something like that, and you were constantly in fear of being backseat drivered or Monday morning quarterback by other people, you might hesitate to make decisions that might save a bunch of lives. You might fuck up so bad because you're worried about bad news from up top that it would cost your soldiers' lives. So the after action report is just that. It's an after action report. You go through, people review what you did, what you could have been done, what could have been done better if it was legitimately a possibility. They will look at that. Well, you got this communication that let you know this exit was possible, but you didn't take it because you made either a value judgment, which we will judge based on your belief of whether or not that was a viable option based on the other information you knew, or just that you refused to take it because you were being insubordinate. But you know what is abundantly clear? Google Santorum. You know what is abundantly clear? That nothing changed in Afghanistan in the last 4 years, and Trump never made any of the tough decisions that Biden is making right now. Because he was afraid to. Because everybody he did talk to said, yeah, it's conflated. Yeah, it's inflated. Everything's, bullshit coming from the generals. But when we get out, it's going to be ugly, no matter what. It's going to suck. And you're going to get bad press for 3 to 6 months easily. And we're going to lose soldiers doing it. And the minute you give the go-ahead, that's on you. And Trump went, the midterms are coming up. Oh, my election's coming up. Oh, I want to get my tax cut done. All those kind of things. The same kind of calculations every politician makes, only he had an even clearer picture of how the generals were bullshitting him. And he didn't act on it. And Biden got in office, and within 7 months, just pulled the Band-Aid off.
Well, he's owning it, but he, shows up for these, moments with the press, doesn't take any questions. And I have to wonder what we're going to see coming this weekend as Americans are still seeking answers as to the situation, bringing Americans out of Afghanistan. Will we hear from the commander-in-chief?
Yeah, he's been out. He's spoken, I think, every day but one.
Well, look, when I say Joe Biden is owning it, he's not owning it by his behavior now and answering the questions and going through the details that a commander-in-chief should be going through.
Why doesn't he just come out and tell everybody where our assets are, how many people are still in country directly, what their addresses are? There are a few Afghans and a few Americans that may have been left behind. That's the concern, right, for the last few days. So why wouldn't you just go on TV and go, Joseph R. Jenkins, he resides at 7582 Alawak Way. He's got a wife, 2 kids. He's about 5'9". He's about a good 170, but he says he's planning on losing a little. And they drive a blue Tercel, and they will be heading towards the airport at 3:25 tomorrow. Any other questions? Yeah, I mean, we don't have to worry about this. No. Taliban and ISIS don't have access to televisions or radios or communication devices. No, it's fine.
Telling the American public what's really going on. You
can't tell the American people what's really going on in some situations, because if you tell them, you tell everybody. That's why we do it after a lot of times. And then we make our decisions in elections instead of pretending that we know when we don't, for example.
By the fact that he's unrepentant.
Yeah, thank you. This is great. But could you move your chair? Some other people want to use the bathroom, and you're blocked. Yeah.
The disaster he's created. And when you're unrepentant for these types of mistakes, I mean, you're going to pay dearly with the American public and with...
Oh, wait till he closes Guantanamo.
Just as importantly, with our allies in NATO and across the globe, and with
why didn't he go out and say exactly what he was saying to our NATO allies and what they were saying back to him in reality, in private, about the people they were working with and where their staff were and how many were left and in what part of the city? Why didn't he give away more of their positions? That's not a chair. He's actually sitting on Santorum.
Relationships with that are looking for us to stand with them to stand up to China, like Taiwan and Japan, or to stand up to Russia, like Ukraine and the.
Like what? Sorry. Like stand up to. I'm sorry. What?
Eastern European states. They're looking at us right now. Israel. They're looking at us right now, and they're worried that America is not an ally they can depend on, and we have a president who's tone deaf, and as Bob Gates said, and I said long before him, wrong all the time on.
Yeah, was he wrong about the surge after all? Because that's one of the big calls. That's what you guys keep using as reference during the Obama years. Was Biden wrong about the surge? Did the surge help extend the Afghan government and the military in any meaningful way? Nope. No. It just resulted in more Americans losing their lives. I mean, it would have been better maintaining Kabul and Jalalabad and basically securing them as their own little country, quite frankly. But a surge into the country, did that work out? Did that help? Did that change what happened today or last year or the year before that or the year before that or the year before that, all during the Trump presidency? Did the surge do fuck all long term against Al Qaeda for that matter? Nope.
Foreign policy issues leading the charge.
Yeah, he is. Senator Rick
Yeah, he is.
Santorum, thank you so much for joining.
Former Senator Rick Santorum.
Tonight.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just great. Thanks. Brilliant. I mean, look, if you're going to Monday morning quarterback everything that Biden does, Newsmax, maybe get, the more people who aren't the political equivalent of a towel boy. Perhaps. I mean, maybe you can't get the big interviews. Maybe that's Newsmax's problem, that none of the real heavy hitters, if you can get them at all, if they would come on, none of them will disagree with the Biden administration, how they did it, or shit on our troops. So it must be hard. It's got to be difficult, Newsmax, to go out and leaf through a bunch of has-been Republicans and find one that'll shit on the troops and disdain them and essentially assert that the only magic the military ever had and the only magic that the American diplomatic corps will ever have and the only magic that ever existed in America itself is the fact that Donald John Trump was president for 4 years and everything else is he's the peak of the mountain. So on both sides, it's all downhill. Fucking hell.